For 20 years, trucks have been dumping used soil from construction sites on Kanesatake land, poisoning the earth. Industrial refuge began to accumulate in the Mohawk Territory in 2014 and built up over 6 years. Christopher pursued the story and discovered that a lot owned by Gary and Robert Gabriel operated a faux recycling center that allowed 400,000 cubic meters of garbage to pile up, creating a small mountain that was 40 feet tall. This pile of refuse would periodically catch fire, spontaneously combusting due to the sheer amount of sulfur. There was 144 times more sulfur than is legally permitted. How did this occur? Well, the government had been aware of this for several years, finally revoking the permit to the recycling center, due to the reporting from the Rover, Ricochet Media, and the Eastern Door. Yet regardless of their permit being revoked, their dumping continued. Several months ago, our lead reporter Christopher Curtis was tipped that there was illegal dumping again on Mohawk's territory. When we began reporting in June, there was enough toxic waste on the North Shore settlement to fill 160 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Chris has spent the past several months investigating it and followed the dump trucks all over the city, creating a map with suspected and confirmed dump sites. Chris continued his research and reporting all summer long. The police have had no presence on this territory post-1990s Kanesatake resistance. The rover uncovered 3 construction sites in Laval and Montreal that took loads of contaminated soil from these sites onto the privately owned land in Kanesatake. Although a team of engineers wrote to the environmental minister in 2022 demanding that the government take action, the pleas for intervention were ignored. In early June this year, La Presse and the rover worked with somebody from Quebec's environmental ministry, learning how to enforce dumping laws. Over the summer, the community began discussing non-violent ways they could fight back against this illegal dumping, and soon they took action. They threatened to blockade the highway. When Julie Tremblay-Cloutier called to report the environmental emergency on the Mohawk land, the operator laughed at her and told her it wasn't an emergency, and those in the government were already well aware of the situation. This laughter comes in the face of dumping threatening water sources on the North Shore, spontaneous fires, and a constant disruption to the locals' lives. Not to mention the sheer environmental concern over what has been going on. Around 100 Mohawks and many non-Indigenous residents of the region were prepared to block the highway. Meanwhile, they were on the phone with the government trying to fix this problem. These issues became worse as one whistleblower was attacked. Someone tried to run this person off the road while they were driving. This whole situation had become very dangerous for those who were trying to fight off this environmental disaster. Both the federal and provincial governments were reluctant to take action, since the Mohawk Territory is federal land, but it's inside Quebec's borders. Situations like this show quite clearly that some voices count for less in Canadian democracy, especially when it comes to advocating for the planet and for human rights. Thanks to the extensive reporting this summer by the rover, specifically Christopher Curtis, finally we might see some resolutions to the problems occurring. Over 1 million tons of illegal waste are dumped each year in Quebec. This site is one of many occurrences that are unreported across the province. The police have, due to our reporting, begun overseeing the collection of samples from the Kanesatake land and are beginning an investigation into the occurrences. There has been no show of violent force by the police, and disturbances to the locals have been kept minimal. The police have simply been escorting scientists and engineers around in order to collect the samples required. It's readable using the links below on therover.ca. Sign up now for the Rover's free or paid newsletter. Hit that subscribe button below so you can have a feed full of excellent interviews and investigative reporting. My name is Isaac Wilde, and thank you for your time.